Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And in this episode, I just want to talk to you, somebody who is out here grinding, working, hustling, really trying to get some things done, and you're tired, you're burnt out, and you can't seem to execute on the things in which you feel like you need to be executing on, and you don't understand why. I really believe in seasons of rest. I think it's important to know what season you are in, you know what I mean, and know what you need in this moment. I know for myself, I remember last year when I first moved into my place, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because, I had just wrote my book Seasons. I was grinding. I was like, I was in situations that I'll share later about those particular situations, but I was really going through. And so when I got my place, I really had a breakthrough moment. And I was so used to just grinding and like really just, pumping it out. And I've always been somebody who's very ambitious, right? So like sitting still, relaxing, those things are not like tasks that really come easy to me. And so I remember getting to my place and I knew it was a season of rest, but I didn't know what that looked like. So I was still grinding. I was still pumping things out, and it's continuous, right? Because I really do what it is that I love, and I try to stay in that space. And I know whenever I have a revelation or whenever I learn something, like I really want to share with other people. So anyways, I didn't do it. I didn't rest because I didn't know how to rest. And now I'm here in this space in my life, and everything that I seem to be doing sometimes is just not working. You know what I mean? It's not working. And you kind of fall into a space of default, and you're like, man, maybe my product isn't good, or maybe what I have to say isn't this and isn't that. But when you really start to seek the good in things, and you really start to be in a space in which you really look for God in certain situations, you have a completely different understanding. I think that seasons of rest are so important. I know we live in a culture where it's like burn out, pump out, make it happen, make it do what it do. But it depends on your journey. I'm going to just say that. Like, it depends on your journey. It depends on what you're doing, what you're after, your purpose, your mission, your goals, your whatever, whatever your aspirations are. I think it's going to look a lot different for a lot of people. But for myself, being somebody who's highly empathetic and having endured a lot, like I've really been through a lot, and I'm only 23. I knew for myself, coming into this next season, I didn't really want to come from a place of projection. I didn't want to come from a place of just like, I wanted to be healed in my own right, and I remember feeling like I was there, but kind of like listening to other people, and it made me feel as though I wasn't, right? They made me feel like I wasn't. So I was like, okay, I need to do some more deep analysis. And what I really found was a part of me had just needed to be rest. Like, she just needed to be rested. You know what I mean? Like, for so long, surviving, going through so many things. I think, like I said, it depends on your journey. I'm going to speak from my personal journey, but having been through so much in my life, it just comes to a point where you have to rest. Like, it's not a matter of physicality. It's your spirit. It's your soul, and even in today's climate, right? Like, dealing with all of this noise and this nonsense and this ignorance and this hate and the violence on top of dealing with the reality day to day, right? Like at my job, there's just a lot of racism, you know what I mean? A lot of racism, and it's a lot, right? It's an uphill battle. And so then putting the burden of, let's make this thing happen, or let's make this thing happen. Like, it's fine. But the thing is, it's like when you can't flow from a place of peace, you move too fast, and sometimes you kind of miss the way, and you don't really have the clarity that you need because you're surviving. And one of the things that I've definitely learned and I've discovered about myself lately is that it's so important to give your body rest, because when you're in a space of survival, you're trying to make things happen, it kind of gets to a point where you're going to find yourself just at a complete burnout, and you're going to look up and you're going to realize the ways in which you've been doing things is producing the same results in your life, right? And so it's all about self-awareness at the end of the day. And like I said, this goes back to my main point of aspiration. Like, it's up to you and what you want for your life. You know what I mean? I knew for myself, I told you guys, like, day one, I was like, I really want to have fulfillment in my life. So if, that means overcoming, right, generational trauma, or overcoming just things within myself, insecurities within myself, doubts within myself, and really taking time to process the pain, taking time to process and reflect on the things that I've been through. You know, I think so many people, it's easier to really go through life and just be like, all right, cool, I did that, I've been through that, that happened, and chalk it up. But at the same time, I think just being a human and allowing yourself to feel, I'm like really in tune with my body and my spirit and things like that. So I'm all about health and nurturing, you know, that's my thing. And so I just think when you've been through so many experiences, losses, betrayals, things like that, it's hurtful. It's a lot of pain in that, you know what I mean? And I think dealing with a lot of people taken from you, you know, I talk about in my book Seasons, which is available at JenandLeslie.com. I talk about feeling like a target. You know, you have a lot of people pulling on you and tugging on you because you're somebody who's resourceful. You know, you're somebody who, you know, is inspirational. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot of pressure that comes with gifts. You know, the price of gifts, the price of talent, like it's a lot of pressure, you know, and the devil really be working overtime, but God is good, you know. So at the end of the day, take your season of rest. Don't feel like you need to be anywhere other than where you are. And when I say that, you guys, you got to really know yourself. I think this is like really at the end of the day, when it comes to these podcasts, these platforms, these influencers, these pastors, like, at the end of the day, you have to have your own relationship with God. You got to know yourself. I can't come on here and give that to you. They can't come online and give that to you. Do you see what I mean? Because what happens is it distorts the reality and like what you're really going through internally, and you can't hear from God. You don't have like a real connection. You got to do your work to get connected, whatever that looks like for you. Yes, maybe you can relate to going outside, standing in the grass and doing it that way. Like I tell you guys how my journey started when I just was like really in the space of like meditation and like, you know, things like that. But like, it doesn't really matter what my experience is because yours is going to be unique based on your experience. Do you see what I'm saying? So I just think that's another thing too. Like that's so primitive. Like you have to be in a space where you can hear from God and you know where you're at in your life. Otherwise, you're going to constantly be ushered in the crowd, pushed left and right, up and down, fearful. You don't know why you're feeling, what you're going through. You see what I mean? And I really think that at the end of the day, when it comes to success, you guys, it starts within yourself. And I think that work right there is the hardest. So many people go through life pointing the finger. It kind of makes me, okay, I'm not going to say it makes me sick. I think that's just a little unflattering. But it's crazy to me. You know, so many people go through life pointing the finger like, oh, this person is this one way. You know how many hurt people go online and tweet, hurt people. Oh, my Lord. It just, it's one of those things where it's like, I can't, right? Like, to me, this whole pointing the finger thing, it's like we just live in such a culture where everybody can point out, you know, the speck in their neighbor's eye, but you don't recognize the log in your eye. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's so much hypocrisy, and I can't stand it. You know what I mean? It just makes me, I just can't. And then you have people who have stories who are in position to influence, and they don't want to give the story, right? They don't want to share the story. They don't want to share certain things because they just want to be seen as, you know what I mean? That's not real to me, and I can't rock with it, and I probably never will. I know I never will, just because it's like, to me, it's so much bigger than that. And this is another thing too, like getting your purpose, getting what it is that God is calling you to do. And understand, you guys, hear me clearly. Your gifts, your passions, that's for God. That's for God's glory. That's not for you. I ain't saying you're going to be called to ministry. I didn't say that. I didn't say you're supposed to be a pastor. I didn't say you're supposed to do that. But I really do think that you got to search within yourself and you got to look at the bigger picture. So often we just want everything for ourselves. And what happens when we get everything that we want and we never stop wanting? Do you see what I'm saying? Because guess what? It's a hole in our soul. We need fulfillment. And that can only come from the love of God, the peace of God, and doing our life mission. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why you can do it for yourself and you can get everything that you've ever wanted, but it'll never be enough because you will never have a real sense of peace and fulfillment. And I believe that is certainly something you can achieve while, you know, following God's will and doing what it is that you love, right? Doing what it is that you love, but with a bigger intention and a bigger purpose, you know, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. And like, I don't really care what you say. Your intentions is going to set the tone for everything. It's going to set the tone for everything. So regardless, that's just, hey, period. Like, period. That's going to always show up, and that's always going to be the forefront of everything that it is that you do. You know what I mean? So you got to be mindful of that. And, you know, I just think, like I said, this level of self-awareness is something we don't possess in society. I see so many memes. Oh my gosh, it's crazy, you know, and I'm definitely just taking a step back and just working on myself continuously. And I really look forward to being brought to the front line. And, you know, and I'm just thankful to be cultivated in the dark. I'm thankful that God is like taking his time with me and working out things within me. You know what I mean? That's real. Like, you can really have joy. You can really have happiness despite all this pain. You know what I mean? All the pain in life, all the losses, everything that we go through on a day-to-day basis, from racism to, you know what I mean? All of this is just nothing more than endurance, and it's to humble you. You see what I mean? So I feel like anytime you are in a space where you are going through so much, it seems unfair. It's like everybody on Instagram seem happy, or people you know around you seem they're cool, their relationships are fine, or whatever the case may be. Understand that to whom much is given, much is tested, and know that God will never tempt you. So temptation, that is not of God. God is not he does not tempt you, and he's not a man that should lie. So, you know, it's important that you figure out what you want to do with your life, and like what you want to be, you know, because at the end of the day, I just think right now we're in a space of like so much distortion. It's crazy, you know, and you can have fulfillment, and it feels really good. It's a peace like no other. It's a sense of rest and just a certainty like no other. It's crazy. You know, I can't even say it's crazy. I don't even, it's so profound that I can't even explain it. You know, it's something that you really just have to experience, and you're only going to experience it by just getting to know God. And like I said, at the end of the day, that is on you. That's how you, like, I can't tell you how, like, you have to do that. God is within every one of us. It's the Holy Spirit. It's available. You know, that time where you were going to go and then you didn't go, or your car didn't start and you were mad, but then you found out it was an accident. Yeah, that's one of those things. Or that time where you was like, I should probably leave here, and you left and then you heard something went down. Yeah. Or that time where you was like, I should probably reach out to this person and forgive, and then you forgave them and y'all talked, and then it was like a different level of peace and you had clarity to move forward, and God revealed the next thing that you should do in your life. Yeah. So, hey, your life, do what you want to do. But I just had to get on here and share that because it's a real thing, and working on yourself is so important. I think you can only, like, how can I know what's for me if I'm not connected to myself? How can you know what's for you if you're so far away from yourself? You don't even know. Like, you have no clue. Like, you know what I mean? How do you know? You don't know. So at that point, it's left up to what? Influence. It's left up to what? Okay, all right, I'm gonna let it go. I ain't gonna get on here and preach tonight, but I'm just letting you know. So anybody who's in a season of rest, enjoy it, bask in it, because when it's your time, you're going to be booked and busy. When it's your time, you know what I mean? Like, everything's going to fall in line, and you're going to be prepared for that. But in your seasons of rest, enjoy it, be thankful, bask in it. I just got out the shower, honey. I was like, wow, I'm just so thankful for this. You know what I mean? Listen, if you've been through, you know. All right, y'all, I'm going to leave everybody with their thoughts, and I hope everybody has a great day. Be sure to check me out on Instagram. It's Jalen Leslie, and make sure you guys check out my YouTube channel. That is actually, I linked it in a few other show notes, but it's in my link tree, which is Jalen Leslie. Make sure you guys check out my book, Seasons. I'm working on my second book, which is so crazy because, like, when I say I've just surrendered to God and I'll be doing whatever, but like, it's just so crazy that I'm already working on my second book. I remember trying to like do it sooner and it just wasn't flowing, but yes. So, check out my book Seasons. It's at JalenLeslie.com. It's really dope. It's really inspirational. And I look forward to keeping you guys updated with everything. And, I hope everybody has a great day.